Hi, everyone, and welcome to a special segment of Unscripted and Unstoppable. We're calling this Jar Talk, real conversations by women 50 plus who coach women 50 plus. I am Laureen Quick, and I am here with my friend and colleague, Jenny Treurnich. We both are coaches who work with women in midlife and beyond. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We've each brought our own jar of questions with no scripts and no preset agenda. And inside these jars are two kinds of questions. The first questions are about how we coach women over 50, the challenges, the breakthroughs, and the moments that move us. The second set of questions are questions about our own lives as women navigating this chapter ourselves. We'll take turns pulling from our jars and asking each other whatever comes up. Sometimes we'll answer solo, sometimes we'll both want to share. But either way, this is a creative conversation designed to be honest, designed to be a little playful, and hopefully very meaningful for you, our listeners. This is just the first of what I hope will be many Jar Talk episodes. It's a new and ongoing segment here on Unscripted and Unstoppable. So grab your coffee or your favorite beverage and listen in as we explore the work we do, the work we love, and the lives we're living in real time. Jenny, are you ready to dive in?
I'm so ready. Let's do this.
Okay, ask away.
Right. Here we go. What do you think women over 50 are wanting most from coaching?
I think women over 50 want most guidance, support and guidance. And that's what I strive to do with my clients. They want and need a coach who can help them hear themselves, help them access their inner voice, their spirit, their soul, their intuition, whatever that's called. And so they don't want necessarily someone to give them a roadmap and say, here are the 3 steps you need to take to do this and this and this, and your life will be wonderful. They really want a coach who will hear them and then help them to listen to themselves. And I firmly believe in my own life and in the lives of the women I work with, in our hearts, we all know our truth. But sometimes we've spent years silencing that truth. And the real challenge in our 50s, 60s, and beyond is to begin to listen to that truth and to live that truth.
I love this. I love the overlap and the similarity between what we do. It's such a resonant answer. Thank you.
You are so welcome. That's my pleasure. My question, let me pull one for you. And that is, what's one coaching moment that changed you as a coach?
I think it's probably the first time I really saw that transformational moment when it became embodied in the person, in the woman. It's beforehand when it's in the head and it's an idea and someone thinks of what they want to create or step into, but it doesn't feel doable and those patterns are in the way. When when that moment of transformation really happens, and those patterns aren't just seen, observed, recognized, but they're gone, dissolved, and the change is embodied, and
Mhm.
it's like, oh, I think the first time I really saw that was, okay, I'm in the right place and doing what I love.
And I would call that like a light bulb moment, but
Yeah,
it's more than that because it becomes something that's so embodied in that person,
yeah,
right? That it's no whatever the issue was is gone. It's no longer an issue, and there's a new way of being, a new way of becoming.
absolutely. That moment of irreversible transformation. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay.
Ah, my
Next
turn.
question for me.
Let's see. If you could whisper one truth to every woman turning 50, what would it be?
I'm very passionate about this question in terms of the answer. And the answer is always for me, stop waiting. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for all the people and all the events around your life to coalesce into what needs to happen for this to happen. Just decide you're going to do it and do it. I often tell my clients you do not have another moment to spare, to waste. You need to act now. It's time to move forward. And when I look back on my own life, I often think, oh, if only I had lived that mantra, if I'd only lived that philosophy when I was in my 20s, how much more would I have achieved? How much more would I have experienced? How many more people would I have loved and touched and them have touched me? But rather I held myself back, waiting for the right time, for the perfect moment, for the perfect person. And that doesn't really exist, never has. And we don't have any more time to waste. So that would be my message to my whisper to every woman over 50.
I absolutely love that.
All
So, so
right.
true.
So
Right.
what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and pull my next question. And what it says is, Jenny, what do you crave more in your life right now?
Hmm. Probably more connection in real physical life with my friends. I'm finding a lot of connection, really meaningful connection online and with clients and with friends online. Um, but it feels a little like my so my a big part of my world has become online. Um, but I'm missing seeing my friends and just doing silly stuff and laughing and having those deep, meaningful conversations in person. I do see them still, but not as often as we used to gather. I think it's just life and we, busy and moving in directions. So I think I'm craving a little more of that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I would say from my own experience, friendship and connection, physically being present with someone is some of the best parts of my life. And I yes, so my message to you is don't wait.
Yeah.
Get out there, start doing more and more and more and more. But
No,
you are,
absolutely.
yeah.
We used to gather for these big art days and just create and talk. And so we need to organize another one very, very soon.
Oh, well, I wish we lived closer
Yeah,
and I would join you.
absolutely. That would be
Uh,
amazing. They're so powerful because you just get into the creative flow and the conversation that comes out. And yeah, I love that.
all right.
I have another question for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
How do you help clients tap into courage when they feel stuck?
I here it's the first answer I give is again, go quiet and listen to yourself, right? There are many ways to do that. Some of my clients meditate, some of my clients write, they journal, some go out in nature and hike or camp or whatever. But what I would tell my clients who are struggling with courage is there is a voice inside you waiting for you to listen to it, to hear it. When you calm and quiet your life down, that voice will speak to you. And the quieter you can be, the more frequently you can be quiet, the more that voice will talk to you and it will get louder and louder. And that voice, to me, it's more than your intuition. It really truly is your spirit that is tapped to a bigger sense of spirit, be that God or however you define that in this universe, in this world. But it only wants your best interest at heart. And if whatever you're afraid of in front of you stands as an obstacle or a challenge, that voice will encourage you to move forward, knowing that you will grow from this, that you will learn from this, that you will become larger, you will expand from this. And so I would seek first that quiet time to reflect and to listen to that voice. The second piece I would say to my clients who are saying, I'm struggling, I don't have the courage to do the things I need to do or I want to do, would be to find your friends, to seek out your friends. I do have, I call them now my cheer squad. And when I'm going through a really difficult challenge, I activate the cheer squad. I literally send them a text and I say, I'm activating the cheer squad. Here is the situation, and this is how long this is going to go on. And for this period of time, I need active support from you to encourage me and affirm me that I actually can face this challenge and be successful and win. So I encourage my clients to again to go out and like you were talking earlier, connect with your friends and let them know what you're going through and ask them to support and help you. Yeah.
I love that. Both of those. Going within and tapping into that and not being in a rush and waiting for that wisdom to drop in is so, so powerful. And something else I loved, apart from the connection and the support and the friends, but the layer that you built into that of asking for what you need,
Hmm.
being specific about it, not just, hey guys, I'm reaching out, but the way you expressed that was very powerful, as in, this is what I need. It might go on for this long. This is what I need from you. I think often people are afraid to, or not afraid necessarily, but reluctant to really ask for what they need, or we expect other people to guess or just know. I love the specificity of this is what I need so that people can then step into that space to help provide that and support.
I think I agree with you, and I really think, and that it is why I stress that. I think as women, what we've tended to do in our lives over the last 3 or 4 decades, looking back, is we wait for other people to tell us what they
Yeah.
want, and then we accommodate and adjust what's going to happen based on their needs and their wants. So it's really difficult for us sometimes to even know what we want, let alone articulate what we want or what we need. Um,
Mm.
and asking for help, in our world, we're taught we're supposed to be strong, we're supposed to be independent, we're supposed to get it done ourselves, and that's not true. I think it takes a community, it takes a tribe to raise a child. They say, right? It also takes a tribe to be a full, healthy, vibrant woman. And so having your
Yeah.
girlfriends, for me, having my girlfriends be my support system has been amazing in terms of
Mhm.
empowering me to face challenges that I might have run away from in the past. I definitely encourage my clients to build that ring of friends and then to use that ring of friends to help them grow and expand. So,
I love that intentionally created support structure, support circle. And also, I don't think it's a weakness to reach out and ask for help. I think it's the opposite. It's a superpower to be able to recognize, oh, I need help. Let me reach out. It's a very powerful thing to do.
well, and I also tell my clients, you not only are doing that, but you're role modeling it for other women who
Yeah.
don't know how to do this. So the more you do it, the more they think it's okay for them to ask.
Yeah.
And so it just keeps giving and giving and giving in terms of a contribution to the world through your own example. Perfect. All right,
I've
are we ready?
completely lost track of the jars. I think it's your turn to ask me, or
I am
I
ready. Here
think
we
so.
go. And so let's see what we got here. So in terms of the work you do, you talk a lot, it seems, about the nervous system regulation. And why is that, Jenny? Why is that something that's important for women as they've gotten older?
I think it's so important. It's pivotal because if we're just making goals and thinking about what we want from a head perspective and we haven't brought it into the body and our nervous system doesn't feel safe holding that, it's not going to happen. We, our nervous systems are wired for safety, not change and growth. So we tend to stay, in our own pattern. It's called a comfort zone, even though sometimes it's really, really uncomfortable. But in regulating the nervous system to be able to hold more and to be able to hold the change and what initially feels unsafe just opens up to allow more of those things and that potential to come in. Because we can't manifest what doesn't feel safe in our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts with the breath, breathing, embodiment exercises, dropping back into the parasympathetic, into the rest and digest, regulating the nervous system so that we can receive more, expand more, dream more, like broaden the dreams from a place of safety and I am able to hold this.
Perfect. Yes. And what I loved about what you just said that I found fascinating was just this whole idea that you can't manifest something unless there is a sense of safety around that.
Yeah,
And so you really have to leave, what is it? It's the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. You have to let go of the sympathetic nervous system, right? And
yeah,
into the parasympathetic, where you're able to recognize the opportunities in front of you and embrace them.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing as well of before, going back in time, a lion's chasing you, you're in your sympathetic, then you drop back automatically when the danger's past. But so many people are just staying in that place. They're just living under that constant feeling of stress, even if they can't quite identify why. So it's so, so important for the nervous system to be able to drop back, in what was once a more natural process. But because from that place, it's not only for better creating your dreams, stepping into the life you want, manifesting what you want, but also from a health and a living and the way we navigate the rest of our lives point of view,
Hmm.
dropping back into that nervous system's reset is so, so important.
I agree totally. Okay, next question.
Right, here we go. What's something you thought you'd have figured out by now, but don't?
Oh, I love this question. I will tell you something that I thought I'd figured out was boundaries. And as I have gotten stronger in my awareness of who I am and what I want, I am learning that we do a lot of boundary setting all day long. It isn't like you just say, "Oh, we're in a relationship. You're my friend or you're my spouse now," or and these are my rules. These are the things that I love, and these are the things I don't like. Please don't do those things. You're negotiating boundaries all the time, and in every relationship, when new things happen, there are you have an opinion, you have a desire around what you want from that, and a lot of times as women, we learn, I will just let that go, and we'll just do what Jenny wants to do, or we'll do it the way Jenny wants to do it because that's keeping the peace, so to speak. And what I'm learning now is a lot of times it doesn't matter, what we do, how we do, where we go to dinner, where we don't go to dinner, that kind of thing. But sometimes it does. And instead of saying, well, I'll take one for the team, instead I'm learning to say, well, this is what I would like to do. Um, how does that work for everyone else? And then there might be a point where I say there are some things that are non-negotiable. Like I do not eat sushi. So I am not going to a sushi restaurant. If you want to go, I'm not the person to go with. Go and enjoy sushi. So I'm relearning a little bit more, going deeper, I think, at this point in my life around how can I be really clear about the boundaries I set, but also, and here's the real kicker, that people won't judge me because I have that boundary.
Yeah.
They're not going to say, "Oh, you're not very open because you won't eat sushi." or I say to myself, I'm not a very open person because I don't eat sushi. Instead of judging myself about my boundaries, I just say, wow, this is a boundary I have. I didn't know I had that boundary until this came up. And wow, isn't that cool? I have this boundary and this is just who I am. And I wait and see if my friends, if my family accept that boundary or want to question and challenge it. And then I get curious and we talk about what that is. Those are conversations that are hard because at a bottom level, you always worry you might be rejected. Like, oh, if I don't go for sushi, they may never invite me to dinner again. But the reality is, I hate sushi. I don't want to go to sushi. And people still love me. Oh, surprise, surprise, surprise. I don't know if that answers the question clearly enough, but that's what
Yeah,
I've been learning lately about
that
myself.
was extremely clear and very layered.
Yeah.
There's so many things I could jump in there on. I love what you said about it's not a one and done, it's a process. And
Yeah.
it's refining those boundaries and new things come up as we're going through life of, oh, I didn't realize, but yeah. And as we evolve and change, yeah, that's a subtle thing that, okay, no, that how does that feel in my body? That doesn't make me feel good. Why? And get curious. I love your use of the word curious. It's such a powerful word.
Thank you.
That no judgment about things and bringing in curiosity instead of judging ourselves or sitting there kind of with a wall up, expecting someone else to judge us for a choice or boundary or for anything, is dropping that and inviting curiosity in is such a powerful practice. And it changes the energy around anything.
It does. And we don't realize it, but also, as you just said, who we are changes and our
Yeah.
boundaries also shift and change over time. They not only get clearer, but they also change. And
Yeah.
we have to be willing to share that with people because they don't know that something's shifted. They don't know that something's changed. So we have the obligation and responsibility to ourselves and to the relationships that we hold close and dear to communicate and talk about those. And again, from a place of curiosity, right? Sweet.
Love that.
Alrighty, next is my turn to ask another question, Jenny. And here it is. What type or what kinds of transformation lights you up the most in the work you do?
Hmm. Probably similar to what I spoke about earlier, that irreversible shift when somebody really gets something with their whole body and all parts of them. So I work a lot with conscious mind and subconscious mind integration and then embodiment. And so often something will stay in someone's conscious mind and kind of and it'll have a reciprocal, an opposite loop carrying on in the subconscious of, I really want to do this thing. No, no, no. Who are you to do that? You can't do this because of X, Y, Z. And so when that is dropped and when the person really feels into the next level of who they are and it's real for them and they can feel it and it's not a sense of having to justify that or it's just this is who I am that
Mm.
that's the transformation that I love and that's what lights me up
And
being able to support women through that.
I love that too. I call it that light bulb moment when
Mhm.
you embrace a new way of thinking, a new way of being, and it just changes you. And you can see it, you feel it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it changes you or it changes the client in a way that you know there's no going back.
yeah.
We
And initially if they when they first start getting it and they're then observing how that pattern plays out in their lives, it's still a little bit of a back and forth process, or it can be. But when they reach that point of, I'm actually done with this, with that thought and that pattern and why, and I no longer need that. And that complete transition point, that's magic. That's beautiful.
I totally agree. Totally agree. All right. Next question for me.
How has your own journey influenced the kind of coach you are today?
I think for me, well, I am 66 and I strive to be a role model for my clients. And so, um, all the questions that I ask my clients are questions I've asked myself. The tools that I share with my clients are the tools that I share, well, that I use myself. So, and that's been different for me since I've turned 60 and began working with women over 50 as my main client base. Because I might have worked with someone in their 30s, or it might have been a man in his 50s, or it might have been a young career woman in her 20s. But today, working solely with women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, I am a living example, but also I have a depth of experience that I bring into the conversation. And I have spent a lot of time, I still spend a lot of time every day self-reflecting, learning and discovering what does this mean to be 66 years old next year? It'll be, what does this mean to be 67? What is this going to look like when I'm 70? What about my 80s? So I think to answer your question, I am my client, and that's what I bring to the table with the clients I work with.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
When it's something you've lived yourself and are living, there's so much more gravitas and so much more. It's coming from a place of real life, which is irreplaceable.
Yeah, and I know not everyone wants to live their life like I live my life. I mean, I'm not trying to turn everyone into a clone of me. That's not what I'm doing. But I come from a base of experience that I believe is helpful, that serves the women that I do work with respect and honor for who they are. Yeah. All right. Next question then, Jenny, for you. Let me pull from the jar. We're starting to get through these. Um, what is something or a belief that you've let go of in this chapter of your life?
Probably, I would say the lone wolf syndrome,
Hmm.
believing I have to do it all myself. I had that for a long time. Kind of was a single mom to my two kids, working, running a business, doing all the things, running the household. And for a long time, I had the impression I've got to do it. Otherwise, it's not going to get done and it's all on me. And then I think I carried some of that energy through into my business initially. I've got to do it all. And one day I stopped and I really looked at that and I thought, what is the evidence that that isn't true? And this long list of things came out of how supported I've been by the universe, by this, by that, by this person, by that, different experiences throughout my life. Some of them, more than a few of them, really strange, bizarre, like help coming from very bizarre quarters. And I thought, I'm so supported by the universe. And not only that, there's there's my friendship circle, there's all these other women coaches, there's this, there's that, there's all this support that how can I possibly have held on to that? And as that dissolved, more and more support came in. as I focused on that. So yeah, that definitely was only in the latter part of my life that I let that go. And it made a very profound shift.
Again, I love that. We are very in alignment with how we live our lives as well as the work that we do as a coach. Um,
Mm.
we don't do it alone, right?
No,
We don't. Um, yeah, perfect, wonderful. Okay. My turn to ask a question, I think, or no, I just asked you. Your turn to
me
ask
to
a
ask you.
question. I get
Oh,
myself
I
you.
wanted to add as well that one of the things I'm very drawn to do is to bring women together in community. And because we're so powerful together and we co-create together. So the flip side of that has birthed a whole new thing as well.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, I have
and
a
I'll
question.
jump in and say this should be our last
Mhm.
round. So this will be your
Sure,
question to me, and then I have one more for you. Okay.
perfect. Um, how has your relationship with your body or beauty changed?
Wow. I look at myself in the mirror today, and I think I'm more beautiful than I have ever been in my life. And I even surprise myself when I say that because I mean, all women do. And I think I'm just like every other woman, I struggle with self-esteem, with our appearance and how we look. And today, I care less about all those standards. And I like what I see in the mirror because I love the energy that I have. And I don't care about the wrinkles. They're there, yay, they're part of my life. Don't care about the gray hair. It's part of who I am. I see the sparkle in my eye. I see the joy and the energy in my whole system, and it makes me happy.
That is beautiful,
Thank you.
beautiful.
I'm very happy with my body and how I look and how I feel. Very happy at this
And
point.
I can feel the energy and the truth of what you're saying.
Thank you.
And it's so beautiful. Mm.
I think it comes a lot, honestly, and I believe I've done a lot of work on this. It comes a lot when you love yourself. When you
Yeah.
begin to really love yourself, what you look like, you look gorgeous. You look amazing, right? No
And
matter
you'll,
if your
yeah.
nose has a wart on it, who cares? It's who you are, and who you are is wonderful. And so, yeah.
And it's tapping into that again, your inner wisdom and inner knowing of what brings you joy, what lights you up, how do you want to live, and less about what other people are saying or doing or yeah.
All right, last question for me, and then we'll wrap up the session. And here it is, Jenny. What is your definition of success, and how has that changed since you've turned 50?
Kind of serendipitous that came up just after what I said. So I feel like I kind of just spoke into that. Um, yeah, my definition of success is now not determined by anything out there or anybody else out there. It's what lights me up, what makes me happy, what brings me joy. That is success to me. What's important to me and how I want to live my life. And that's the only thing that should determine what's success to me. Doesn't matter if it doesn't fit into somebody else's box of what they call success. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's sums it up.
We decide for ourselves at
We
some
decide for ourselves.
at some point I call it like a light switch goes off
Yeah,
and goes on, and it's sort of like the only person that really matters when it comes to whether or not I've lived my life well, whether I feel successful, is me.
yeah.
It's me. Cool.
And you kind of there's a little tendency to want to go back in time a little and activate that earlier. So that But I guess that's part of wisdom. Yeah,
I think that's true. I often say, "Oh, if only I'd known this then," and then I think, you know what, Laureen, you had to live all of that then in order for you to know that
to
now.
get this. Yeah,
So that's
exactly.
that's just life, right? And let's enjoy it as much as we can right now, for as long as we can. That's how I think.
And
Listen,
life is a wonderful adventure,
it
being in
absolutely
the
is.
moment.
And adventure, oh my gosh, we could have a whole nother show all about the idea of adventure and how it helps us grow and experience joy. But we're going to wrap for today. And I just want to say, Jenny, this has been an amazing conversation. I love talking with you. So thank you. And thank you to my listeners who attended or have listened to this special segment of Unscripted and Unstoppable. Thank you for listening as we've explored life and coaching after 50, unscripted, real, and exactly how we live it. We hope that today's conversation offered you both inspiration and reflection as you navigate your own next chapter. We'll be back, or I'll be back with more jar talk. Jenny may come back as well because this was such a great conversation. With more episodes, though, of Jar Talk soon. Each one is going to be a fresh conversation pulled straight from the jars and straight from our hearts. And if you would like to contact either of us, Jenny or myself, please reach out. We would love to make that connection. Our contact information will be in or is in the show notes, and we would love to hear from you. Until next time, keep asking bold questions and living your best next chapter with curiosity and courage. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And again, Jenny, thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you so much for having me. And this was really fun. I
I
love
have
the conversation. Thank you.
I had a blast. Enjoy.